Welcome to aTech for another discovery topic that will interest many. Today, we'll discover a little more about 3D printing. The 3D printing is used to manufacture three-dimensional objects. This is done from a digital file. This creation is finalized through an additive manufacturing process. During the process, an object is created by depositing successive layers of materials. This is how the object is created. 3D printing is the opposite of subtractive manufacturing. The latter involves cutting or hollowing out a piece of material or plastic. But more interestingly, 3D printing allows you to produce complex shapes, plus it uses material than trading manufacturing methods. But does this really mean you can go as far as building a house with a 3D printer? Sit tight, aTech tells you all about that in a moment. Before we venture into 3D home design, let's try to understand how exactly 3D printing works. In fact, we talk about it in several videos on our channel. Feel free to watch, like, and share them. So it starts with a 3D model. You can choose to create one from scratch. Alternatively, you can have the option of downloading it from a 3D model library. There are many software programs available. Where 3D printing once offered only prototypes, it is now becoming a mass production technology. To prove this, most of the current demand for 3D printing is industrial in nature. As a process, 3D printing technology is designed to evolve almost every major industry. Indeed, this type of printing can be found in automotive, aviation, jewelry, healthcare, and culinary industries, among others. Additive manufacturing can make us use several materials. These include plastics, metals, concrete, ceramics, paper, and some edible materials. The materials are often in the form of filaments. In most cases, the 3D printing device is attached to a multi-ax robotics arm and consists of a nozzle. The nozzle deposits the filament on the surface. Then, a laser of an electronic beam or plastic arc is used to melt the filament. This is why it ultimately forms the solid object. But what about printers for construction? Well, in construction, 3D printers are created using a very large printers. Unlike small formats of other industrial models, they're able to extrude concrete. But not only. There is also extrusion of plastic or other construction materials through these nozzles. Thus, one can gradually build the object the size of a house. The printer first creates the foundations, then the layer by layer the walls of the house or the building are built. We can consider the ground as the building plate of the printer. On the other hand, some 3D printers are used to pick brick molds. Once molded, the bricks are used to stack on top of each other to create the building or house. Concrete 3D printing in the construction industry saves a lot of time. Savings are also made in materials and human resources. Compared to traditional construction methods, there is no question. However, printers are not yet capable of creating a fully functional house on their own. When the printer is launched, only the frame and the walls of the house are built. Very logically, the windows, electricity, or plumbing, for example, must be installed separately. But, the advancement of technology, 3D printers can be used to print decks. Aesthetically speaking, one can make benches or simply outdoor decorations. All that is needed to find or create the right models. Do you know in which country a family was first in the world to move into a 3D printed house? Well, it's none other than France. The Ramdanis family moved into a 4-bedroom property in Nantes in 2018. The printing took only 54 hours, but the project took another 4 months for contractors to add the other elements of the home. Its total cost, about 212,273 euros. That makes it 20% less expensive than traditional construction. Considering the majority of printed houses are made of concrete, they should last quite a while. However, proper maintenance and continuous living are required. Under these conditions, there is no reason why they should not last as long as traditional construction. Estimates vary. One lists that they should last about 50 to 60 years. In Mexico, a giant 3D printer was used to create an entire neighborhood. Each house took 24 hours to build. To list another example, there is a very surprising collaboration. Indeed, the Dutch University of Technology in Hoven collaborated with architects Hoben and Van Marlo. Together, they have created habitat models that you could find in the alien world. The university is expected to build another 5 buildings almost entirely out of concrete over the next 5 years. However, so what are the real advantages or disadvantages of these 3D printed houses? Let's start with environmental impact. The printed houses can be made of organic and ecological materials. On top of that, most printers are solar energy to operate. This generates a low CO2 emission. Secondly, these printers are most often build affordable homes. They are a great help for people living in poor areas. With the event of COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen an increase of demand in such homes. Such 3D printing of shelter is still an option. In construction, printing reduces some costs. For example, the cost of 1 square meter of wall with traditional construction methods is about 68 euros. With a 3D printer, it's about 25 euros. Also, because materials are printed on demand, less waste is produced. And construction printers take less time to create constructions. They can complete foundations in just a few days. Traditional construction methods can take even weeks or months. Finally, with a printer, it's easy to make unique curves and facades. But like everything else, there's also drawbacks. For example, these 3D devices can sometimes be very expensive. Also, they only build the structures of the house. The printing process must be interrupted to complete plumbing, wiring, and rebar placement. Some residents have also noted that the exterior of these homes is not as smooth as traditional home built. The biggest drawback, however, is the building regulations and certifications. Traditional construction sites are regulated by laws and safety standards. They must also be respected, but this becomes a bit problematic with 3D printing techniques. And considering they reduce the need for manual labor, printers hurt local economies, especially in poor areas. Despite the drawbacks, 3D homes could be our homes of not too far distant future. Here we go, we've reached the end of our discovery topic on 3D printed houses. Did you know about this construction method? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this topic of the day, leave us a little blue thumbs up. To make sure you don't miss our next topic, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and see you next time on aTech.